एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आदि सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आदि सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आदि सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आदि सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आदि सच जुगादि सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच वाहिगुरु 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 ज्ञान ध्यान किश कर्म न जाना नाहिन निर्मल करनी साध संगत कै अंचल लावहो बिखम नदी जाय तरनी ज्ञान ध्यान किश कर्म न जाना सार न जाना तेरी सब ते वड्डा सतगुर नानक जिन कल राखी मेरी तेरे जोर मैं गूंगा कहता हूँ तेरा सदका तेरी शरण सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी थाप्या ना जाए कीता ना हुए आपे आप निरंजन सोए जिन सेविया तिन पाया मान नानक गाविया गुणी निदान गाविया सुनिया मन रखिया भाव दुख पर हर सुख घर लै जाए गुरमुख नादं गुरमुख वेदं गुरमुख रहया समाई गुर ईसर गुर गोरख बरमा गुर पार्वती माई जे हाउ जाना आखा नाही कहना कथन ना जाई गुरा एक देह बुझाई सबना जिया का एक दाता सो मैं विसर ना जाई थाप्या ना जाए कीता ना हुए। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। धन धन सतगुरु जी पतित पावन भगत वत्सल किरपा दे खजाने जोत रूप धन धन श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी महाराज दी साजी निवाजी साध संगत जी। We gathered here for the 5th pauri of Sri Japji Sahib. Last time in the 4th pauri we heard the importance of Amrit Vela. We heard the importance of the different types of Amrit Vela. The key one, the ultimate one being waking in the early hours of the morning and contemplating on Waheguru. But those of us who are at different stages or different spiritual stages in our lives, we found ways in which we can access our Amrit Vela. If we're a child, that is a type of Amrit Vela. In human form is a type of Amrit Vela. Being in Kaljug is a type of Amrit Vela.
taking Amrit, being ready for that is the Amrit Villa, and then coming to the Saad sangat and remembering Waheguru with every breath is an Amrit Villa. So we learned about that last time. Obviously, going through each of those stages, the ultimate aim, as I said, is to have the ultimate Amrit Villa, which is rising the early hours of the morning and contemplating on Waheguru, where we found that that is where we get to choose the best gifts, if you will, from Akal Purkh Waheguru. This time, in the fifth body, the Siddhs continue their discussion and they asked Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji some questions. Now, the questions they used were from their time. So they were asking about Waheguru and asking for descriptions of Waheguru. They asked Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, is Waheguru Nadi or is Waheguru Bindi? Now what Nadi means, Nadi is a type, is a way, for instance, if you imagine Waheguru, in those times they had different groups or jathe, and you would have a leader of a group or a jathedar. And when a jathedar becomes really old, or when a leader becomes old, or a guru, he would choose from one of his chele, his followers, his best chela, to continue being the next guru. So that's not the guruship as the Sikhs gurus. I'm talking about gurus and ustads and teachers of their groups, and the Siddhs in their group, how they would pass on. There would be a leader Siddh, and when he's going to pass on, he would then pass on the leadership of that group to probably his best chela, his best student. That is what you call Nadi. And they asked Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, you're talking about Waheguru. Did somebody pass on that control to Waheguru Ji? Did Waheguru Ji have a teacher, a spiritual teacher, a guru? So not the guru in the sense of our gurus, the 10 gurus, but a guru in the form of an ustad, a teacher. Is Waheguru Ji Nadi? Are they a Nadi Ulad? Did they have a spiritual teacher who passed on all their powers to them for them to create and run this world? And the second question, is Waheguru Ji Bindi? Are they a Bindi Ulad? Are they a child? And that works in everyday life. A father and a mother create a child, and they have a child, and when the father passes on, he passes on, or the family pass on the ownership, let's say, of that family, the leadership of that family to the eldest child most of the time, and that's what you call a bindi. So they asked the question to Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, does Waheguru have a spiritual teacher who passed on their power and their control of the world to Waheguru Ji? Or did Waheguru Ji have a father who passed on, when the father passed away, who passed on all this power to their son, who would have been Waheguru? They're still unclear that Waheguru Ji is self-sufficient. And thinking of Waheguru Ji, they can only assume that Waheguru Ji still has a beginning. They still haven't realized fully that Waheguru Ji is limitless. As we heard in the Mool Mantar, Aad Sach, Jugad Sach, Hai Bhi Sach, Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. So they're still asking Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji these questions, and Guru Sahib Ji gave them the answer.
Thapya na jaye, kita na hue.
So, Thapya na jaye. So when one spiritual teacher, or when one guru, one ustad passes on the leadership, he thap jandaya. That's the word in Punjabi. So Thapya na jaye. Waheguru Ji is not Nadi. They don't have a spiritual teacher or ustad that passed on this control of the world, this all-powerfulness to them. So Waheguru Ji's Thapya na jaye, Kita na hoye. They don't come into being like we as children are born. Kita na hoye. They are not born. So Waheguru Ji is Thapya na jaye, Kita na hoye. They're neither Nadi nor they are bindi.
Ape aap niranjan sue.
So then the next questions they asked, again giving the words that you may hear, or you may when you research, or you may hear in the Gurdwara, are they Sutantar or are they Patantar? Now Sutantar means they are free-willed, they have no controller, and Patantar means they have a controller. So for instance, if we keep pets, we are in control of those pets. If we have birds or goldfish, we keep them in the cage or in the tank. Or if we have dogs or cats, maybe we hold them on a leash. So we are controlling, they're under our control. Is Waheguruji Patantar, are they under the control of anybody? Or are they Sutantar, are they without control? And Waheguruji gave him the answer, Ape Aap. So they are their own controller. There is no controller ahead of them. They are Sepang, self-illuminated. Again, a teaching from the Mool Mantar. And then the final two questions they asked were regarding Maya. Now, Maya translated, Ma means something that is not, and Ya is something that is. So Maya translated something that is not true, something that is an illusion. And this world is being created like an illusion, because although it's true because we're here and we can feel each other, we can see each other, we've got senses, it's not the truth. So that's one way of thinking about it. Although it may be true because it's happening, we're here, it's not the truth, because something which is the complete truth never dies, never finishes. So Maya is not the truth, because this Maya, this illusion, will come to an end. So although it is true because it's happening, it's not the truth, if you sort of understand the phrases there. So they asked, what Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, is Waheguruji under the control of Maya, or are they separate from Maya? And Sadhguru Sahib Ji gave him the answer, Niranjan Soy. Niranjan means, ultimately it means completely pure. Anjan means Maya. Niranjan means outside of Maya. Soy, they are outside of Maya, because they are Ape Aap, they are the controller of themselves. They do not have another controller. So Waheguru Sahib Ji is outside of Maya, outside of the illusion, because they are the truth.
Jin sevaya tin paya man.
So Sadhguru Sahib Ji carried on explaining to the Siddhs, Jin sevaya, those who do Waheguruji's seva. We can take it very simply in that form, of those who serve Waheguruji. Now how do you serve Waheguruji? You can serve Waheguruji in three ways. Gurbani teaches us you can serve Waheguruji tan karke, that's with body, man karke, with your mind, and tan karke, with your wealth, with your assets. So those people who serve Waheguruji in any one of those forms, or ultimately a Guru Sikh would serve Waheguruji in all three of those forms, tin paya man, they will find man, they will find honour. They will gain honour. Now how do they gain honour? You can gain honour three ways. Again, you can gain honour on a worldly, materialistic level. So we could serve Waheguruji through tan, man or tan, through our mind, through our body, through our wealth or assets, and we may ask for honour in a materialistic way. I'm going to share a story with you that's not that long, that's not happened that long ago. Now usually the Sakhiyan that I've shared are from the times of the Guru. But this story is actually a fact that happened maybe 10, 20, 30 years ago, within the last 10, 20, 30 years. It's about the former president of Pakistan. His name was Ayub Khan. And recently, on the last so many years, he's written an autobiography called Friends Not Masters. And in that biography of his life, he describes what his route to becoming the president of Pakistan. Now you might think to yourselves, what has that got anything to do with Sikhi? Because Ayub Khan is obviously a Muslim, a Musliman. And how does that link with what we can learn? Well, as we go through Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, we will find many sakhiyan of, let's say, non-Sikhs, that we can take the goodness from those sakhiyan and put them into our lives. And in the same way, this, what I'm about to share with you now, is something actually which is specifically related to Gurbani. When Ayub Khan was a little child in Pakistan, just like we go to school, he would go to school. Now the schools in Pakistan, and some of you may have heard the stories, when the child goes to school, if he would make mistakes, he would be beaten with a stick. And Ayub Khan would go to school every day as a child, and he would constantly make mistakes. He'd be constantly late to school. He wouldn't be one of those children that's really, really clever. He wouldn't be one of those children that's always on time. He would have one of these characteristics where he'd like to mess about, have a little bit of fun, maybe not get everything right, but he would be beaten with a cane from his teacher constantly. And he would hate going to school. He actually lived in a place called Abbottabad, where he went to school. And as he would go to school, he would go past a Gurdwara. Because obviously in Pakistan, when the partition of India happened in 1947, a lot of Gurdwara were left in the side of Pakistan, and there's only a few Gursikhs there that keep the control and continue the upkeep of those Gurdwara. And we passed the Gurdwara. So what he started doing was hiding in the Gurdwara instead of going to school. So his parents would send him off to school, he would hide in the Gurdwara so he wouldn't have to go to school because he didn't want to face the cane. One day the Granthi or the Sevadars of the Gurdwara saw him hiding there. Obviously they asked him his name, Ayub, or Yubia as they used to call him, and they asked him what he was doing there, what he's hiding for, what has he come into the Gurdwara for. And he explained that he goes to school every day and he's being taught in that school and he's being caned every day and he doesn't like being caned and he wants to stop. Now the Sevadar at the Gurdwara explained to young Ayub Khan that going to school is important because education is the way of developing yourself within the world. Kirta karni is easier if you've got an education. One of the teachings of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. But then Ayub Khan says, I don't want to go because I get caned and I always make mistakes. I like to have some fun. I want something that will stop me getting caned. The Sevadar said to him, I will give you something that you will never have to be caned again. Ayub Khan, obviously being a child, wanted to know what it was. He thought he might give him some sort of magic. I mean, in some ways, in a worldly level, we could describe it like that, but we know that it's much more than that, as you will hear. The Granthi of the Gurdwara said to Ayub Khan that on the way to school every day you should recite the Mool Mantar, the true teaching of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. Ek Oankar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Moorat Ajuni Sah Bhang Gur Prasad Jap Aad Sach Jugad Sach Hai Bhi Sach Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. If you recite the Mool Mantar, the teaching of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, the first verse of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, you will never be caned again at school. And as a child, he believed the Granthi, he believed the Sevadar at the Gurdwara. And every day as he would go to school, he would constantly recite the Mool Mantar, constantly over and over and over and over again. And funnily enough, when he went to school that day, although he was very, very late, he wasn't caned. He came back on the way home, excited, explaining to the Sevadar that it was true, I never got caned. And the Granthi said again, don't worry, you will never be caned if you remember Sadguru Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji and recite his prayer, his teaching to the world. And Ayub Khan continued to recite it. When it came time to his exams, he came back to the Gurdwara and said, again, says, I've got exams now, I want to pass the exams. And the Sevadar says, don't worry about it. The same teaching that you were given before, the sacred Mool Mantar, you continue reciting it and you will pass your exams. And lo and behold, he passed his exams. And as he developed through his life, obviously becoming the president of a country is a massive, massive honour. It was the Mool Mantar, the continual recital of the Mool Mantar, Satguru Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji's Mool Mantar, that took him where he was and became the the President of Pakistan. And on his mantelpiece, on his fireplace, he would always hang a picture of the Mool Mantar. And anybody who would visit him, they would always ask, "You're a Muslim. Why have you got the teachings of the Sikhs, of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji? Why have you got the Mool Mantar in your house?" And he explained this story to them all the time. Now that account is fact, and he has written that as part of his biography, which is called Friends, Not Masters. So you can research that for yourselves. And so, listening to this pankti, Jin Sevaya Tin Paya Man, Ayub Khan found the honour of becoming the President of Pakistan through serving the Almighty Waheguru through the teaching of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, the embodiment of Waheguru Ji, the Mool Mantar. Now if we take that further again, because as we're listening to this discourse, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is telling us about forgetting about the materialistic world and thinking about the spiritual world and the meaning of life and why we are here. So although that is true as well, whatever we want materialistically, Guru Sahib Ji gives us that as well. But for us, we should be thinking one step further. We should be thinking of spiritual development. Jin Sevaya Tin Paya Man. I'm going to share a sakhi now of Bhai Mati Das Ji. Bhai Mati Das Ji was a famous Gursikh in the time of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. And when Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji went down to Delhi to stand up for human rights, where they were going to be shaheed for human rights, for the Hindu faith, because the Kashmiri Pandits had begged Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji that if they give up their life, then the Hindu faith would be saved. And Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji asked young Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, and Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji said, "There is no one more spiritual than yourselves, Father. If you give up your life, then surely this faith will be saved." Now, that's not to say that the Hindu faith is the true faith and they were fighting. That's a teaching to us that we should be standing up for human rights and for anybody who is weak or is being oppressed. That is a teaching for the Sikhs. And when Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji went down there, they took 3 Sikhs with them, Bhai Mati Das Ji, Bhai Sati Das Ji, Bhai Dayal Das Ji. Now I'm going to share the sakhi of Bhai Mati Das Ji with you. Because when Bhai Mati Das Ji went down there, Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji was threatened that his Sikhs would be tortured and killed if they don't convert to Islam. And Bhai Mati Das Ji obviously refused, because he had served Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, the 9th form of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, the Jot of Akal Purkh Waheguru. And obviously they flatly refused all the offerings, all the materialistic things to serve Waheguru Ji, to serve Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, to stand up for human rights. At that time, you may have seen a picture, we have one in this Gurukar upstairs, of a saw cutting a Sikh in half from head through the body. That is a picture of Bhai Mati Das Ji. Now Bhai Mati Das Ji, on his last request, requested to face Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, because when they were becoming shaheed, the torturers, the Mughals, wanted to show Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, because they were trying to scare them that this is what's happening to your Sikh, this is something like this is going to happen to yourself. And Bhai Mati Das Ji asked Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, he said, "I've served you, you have given me many powers," because Guruji elates the Gursikh and makes them to their level. And Bhai Mati Das Ji said to Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, the spiritual powers that no one can even imagine because they haven't even delved into spirituality, I have those powers. I can turn the world upside down. We can be free from this. Why do we have to go through this? And Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji explained that this is Waheguru Ji's Pana, and it's from that Sakhi that the Khalsa Panth initially, let's say if you want to call it, the idea of the Khalsa Panth came from the Shahidi of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. Although it was preordained, the Hukam of Akal Purkh Waheguru, through the Sakhi, you can, as it develops, you will see that there was no Sikhs, and Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji wanted to create a form of the Khalsa, and it was from there that it was developed. So Sri Guru Tegh Bahadar Sahib Ji said to Bhai Mati Das Ji that this is the will of Waheguru Ji. That if you've got the power, the person who gave you the power, can't he turn the world upside down? Can't he be free from this? That person obviously was Waheguru themselves, the Jyot of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji and the 9th Guru Sri Guru Tegh Bahadar Sahib Ji. Now Bhai Mati Das Ji then requested Sri Guru Tegh Bahadar Sahib Ji that they would be with them all the time. So what honour did they receive? They received the honour of Shahidi, martyrdom, the honour of liberation, the honour of being one with Waheguru themselves. When the saw started to cut their body, they started reciting Japji Sahib da part. Ik Onkar Sat Nam Karta Purkh, and they continued reciting. And actually, their body was sawed by the time they reached the body of Panch Parvan, Panch Pardhan, Panche Pavahid Dargah Man, a body that we've yet to hear the discourse of, which will be coming in the next few weeks. The body was sawn in half. However, the complete Japji Sahib part continued to sound out of the body, the two pieces of the body of Bhai Mati Das Ji. So they received that honour of being one with Waheguru Ji. Even though their body was sawn in half, they were given that honour and their body continued to recite Japji Sahib Ji. They were given the honour of Shahidi, they were given the honour of being one with Waheguru Ji, of being liberated. So Jin Sevya, those who serve Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji, Tin Paya Man, they're given materialistic honour if they want it. And if they want, they can give given the ultimate honour of becoming one with Waheguru Ji.
Nanak gaviya guni nidan.
So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji continues telling the Siddhs, and to us in this day listening to this, Nanak gaviya guni nidan. Gaviya, sing the praises of that Lord who protects you, who's protected you through your 8.4 million lives, who will continue to protect you. Because he is Guni Nidan. Guni are all the gunas, the qualities. Nidan is like a treasure. Okay? So sing the praises, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is saying, because he contains all the treasures. He is full of all the qualities, and he will pass on all those qualities and gifts to you. The Siddhs then asked, you're asking us to sing those praises. How are we to sing those praises? Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji replied,
Gaviya suniya man rakhiya pao.
So Gaviya, when you sing those praises, you must listen. Suniya man rakhiya pao. So when you sing, make sure you listen to what you're saying. Man rakhiya pao. In your mind, in your man, you must sing those praises with pao, with love. That's how you sing those praises. Now if we take that further, a teaching for us, Gaviya, Suniya, Man Rakhiya, Pao. If we split up each one of those words, okay? Now this is a path of a Gursikh. Now many people constantly have these questions. When I read Gurbani, when I meditate, it's very difficult to concentrate. I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. Now this Bhakti in itself explains the path of a Gursikh. Gaviya, first you must sing. When they sing, Suniya. When you're singing Gurbani or reading Gurbani, you must always listen to what you're saying. So recite out loud. Listen to what you're saying. Let it go into your ears. Man. Once you start listening to it, you obviously then start understanding it, and then you have to believe in it. Man. You have to believe in it. Rakhiya. Rakhiya. You then, once you start believing in what you're reading, so you're singing, so you're reciting, you're listening to what you're reciting, you believe what's going into your ears, and then you act on it. Rakhiya, you act on what you're being told, what you're being taught. What happens when you do that? Pow! Love will develop inside yourselves. You will become closer to Waheguru Ji. You will become one with Waheguru Ji. So it develops the stages of a Gursikh. So you do have to start, possibly, if you want to use that phrase, parrot fashion, and you don't necessarily understand what you're saying. Then you listen. Start concentrating on what you're saying. Listen, let it go into your ears. Then believe in what you're saying, act on what you're saying, and you'll become one with Waheguru Ji. So those three stages are key when you're reading Gurbani or when you're meditating or when you're singing Kirtan. Listen, believe, and then act. And by doing that, you will find true love with Waheguru Ji. You will develop your love, and you will become one with Waheguru Ji.
ਦੁਖ ਪਰ ਹਰ ਸੁਖ ਘਰ ਲੈ ਜਾਏ.
So what happens when you do that? Dukh par har, all your pains will be taken far, far away from you. Par har, far, far away from you. Sukh kar le jai. Sukh here means the Saroop of Waheguru Ji. Kar le jai. Sukh kar, you will be taken to the Saroop of Waheguru Ji. In other words, you will become one with Waheguru Ji. Again, if we want to take this materialistically, all our dukh, all our diseases, all our pains will vanish. Sukh, materialistically, will be brought to our houses. Some people take it in that way, but we have to take the deep message from this. Dukh par har, what pains are taken away? The pains of coming back in the 8.4 million lives over and over again, that is taken away. Sukh kar, we are taken to the Saroop of Waheguru Ji, le jai, we become one with Waheguru Ji.
ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਨਾਦੰ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਵੇਦੰ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਰਹਿਆ ਸਮਾਈ.
So the Siddhs asked, you're saying sing the praises, what should we sing the praises of? Gurmukh Nadang, the teachings of Waheguru Ji. Nad means sound, okay? So Nad means sound, or we can take that further as being the word or the Gurbani of Waheguru Ji. Gurmukh Nadang. Gurmukh, if we split that word up, Gur meaning the enlightener, Mukh. So I've used the word Guru earlier on in this discourse when I was describing just a teacher. Now I'm describing Akal Purkh Waheguru, who is the Mukhi Guru. Mukhi means the leader, the ultimate Guru. The ultimate Guru is Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji. So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji told the Siddhs, Gurmukh Nadang, Jara Mukhi Guru, the ultimate Guru, the true teacher, the true Guru, Akal Purkh Waheguru, his Nadam, or his Nad, his sound, his word, his teachings, okay, they are what we sing. So we constantly sing Gurbani, the teachings, the word of Akal Purkh Waheguru. So then the Siddhs asked further, because obviously you've got to remember this is a discussion with the Siddhs, and the Siddhs were actually from the Brahmanistic background. So they believed in the Veds, the scriptures of Brahmins. And they asked, well, the Veds give us those teachings. What about the Veds? We can just recite them. Isn't that the word of Waheguru Ji? Gurmukh Vedam. The Mukhi Guru, the true enlightener, the ultimate Guru, his Vedam, Ved means knowledge. All knowledge is the Mukhi Gurus, is the ultimate Wahegurus. The ultimate, the Almighty God. True knowledge is his. Gurmukh Rahaya Samai. Everything, Rahaya Samai, is within the Mukhi Guru. The true Guru, the ultimate Guru, Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji. So even though we can take that further, we can say this is obviously a discussion with the Siddhs, but we can think about all other religions. Everything is contained within this one Waheguru Ji. So Guruji is still trying to explain to these Siddhs that Waheguru Ji is the ultimate, is the complete, is the limitless. Everything is contained within Waheguru Sahib Ji.
Gur Isar, Gur Gorakh Brahma Gur Parvati Mai.
And again, like I said, the Siddhs being believers of what is now called the Hindu faith, the Brahmanistic background, they believe in 3 deities and their Devis. So Devi, Devte. The 3 deities are Shivji, Brahma and Vishnu. Okay? So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji was asked by the Siddhs, what about those then? They are supposed to be the 3 ultimate gods. And then their consorts or their wives, Parvati, Lakshmi and Saraswati. They are the ultimate. What about them then? You're saying everything is contained in the Mukhi Guru, in Waheguru Ji. What about those? And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji replied, Gur Isar. Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji is the Guru, is the ultimate Waheguru, even of Isar, Shivji. Gur Gorakh, they are the true Guru of Gorakh, Vishnu. They are the true Guru of Brahma, Barmagur. They are also the Guru of Parvati, the consort of Shivji. Mai is split into 2. Ma, first meaning Maya or Lakshmi, the consort of Vishnu. And E split the second part of Mai, Saraswati, the consort of Brahma. So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji described that these Devi Devte, these deities, Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji is their Guru. They are underneath Akal Purkh Waheguru. Now, that obviously was relating to the Siddhs. How does all that teaching then relate to us? So we're going to read again from Gurmukh Nadam.
Gurmukh Nadam, Gurmukh Vedam, Gurmukh Rahya Samai.
Gurmukh Nadam. So if we think about this now, Gurmukh Nadam, that sound that has come out of the mouth, the mukh of the true Guru, because mukh means mouth, so the sound, the word, the teachings that has come out of the mouth of the true Guru, Gurmukh Nadam. What about that sound? What about those teachings? Gurmukh Vedam, the true Gurmukh, that person who is facing the Guru, a true Sikh, Vedam means knowledge, contemplates on the teachings of that word, of that true word. What happens to that person? Gurmukh Rahya Samai, Gurmukh, the Mukhi Guru. So this is where I made a mistake, obviously. This is where the Mukhi Guru comes in now. Attains Rahya Samai, they become absorbed in the Mukhi Guru, i.e. they become one with Waheguru. So this is quite deep thinking. Now if we want to take this message to us, so I'll just say that one more time. The teachings, Nadam, from the mouth, Mukh of the true Guru, of Waheguru. If the true Gurmukh, the true Gursik, a Sikh, us, takes the knowledge, the Vedam, and contemplates on that knowledge, what will happen to them? They will be absorbed into the Mukhi Guru, the true Waheguru, Rahya Samai, they will become one with Waheguru. That's the teaching for us in this day and age. Let's take that a little bit further. The true Gurmukh, who Guruji faces, that's what Gurmukh means. The true Sikh, Gurmukh Nadam. They sing the Kirtan of Waheguruji. Nadam, the sound. They sing Kirtan. Gurmukh Vedam, they do the vichar of the teachings. So in some ways it's like we do here, Kirtan, then Katha. So Kirtan is singing those praises, singing that teaching. Katha is contemplating on that teaching. The true Gurmukh, Gurmukh Nadam, listens to Kirtan. Gurmukh Vedam listens to Katha, contemplates on that. Gurmukh Rahya Samai, and the Rahya Samai, they concentrate, and then they go away and they meditate and they read more Gurbani themselves, they concentrate. And the true Gurmukh Rahya Samai, Samadhi Lage, he concentrates on the teachings of the true Guru. So that's another teaching for us. And then further to that,
Gur Isar, Gur Gorakh Barama Gur.
Gur Isar. Now again to the Siddhs, this was the qualities of Shivji, Vishnu, Brahma, and obviously their consorts Parvati, Lakshmi and Saraswati. What are their qualities? Okay, their qualities, Shivji is known as a destroyer. Gorakh, Vishnu is known in the world, or for the Hindus, he looks after, and Brahma is the one who gives them life. So we can look at it in this way. Those Devis, their consorts, and the Devte themselves, what does Guruji do for us? He gives us birth in this human form. I.e., if you take that word Barma, take of that as giving birth. So Guruji gives us that life in this world. That's what Akal Purkh Waheguruji does for us. He gives us a human life, the ultimate life, out of the 8.4 million life forms. Then he looks after us in this life. If we say Gorakh, which is like Vishnu, who he's supposed to look after. How does Waheguruji look after? He makes sure we have food. He makes sure we are clothed. He looks after us, he protects us in this life. And then afterwards, he delivers us. Now, if we're manmukhs, then we could say he destroys us because we die and then we go back into the 8.4 million lives. If we are Gursikhs, we follow the teachings, then he delivers us. In other words, he delivers us within himself and we get absorbed. So that's like Shivji's Shakti. So that's like delivering us, making us one with Waheguruji. But if we take that further again, that's materialistic. What if we take that spiritual? Guru Isar. Now, Isar is known as a destroyer. What does Guruji destroy for us? He destroys the 5 vices: Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Ahankar, lust, greed, anger, attachment and ego. So Guruji for us destroys those vices. And then like Burma, what does he give us? What is born within us? When we destroy those 5 vices, when he destroys those for us, within us is born good qualities. Sat, Santokh, Daya, Dharam, Dheeraj. Sat, truth. Santokh, contentment. Daya, compassion. Dharam, faith. Dheeraj, patience. So they are born within us, and then Gorak, just like Vishnu, they say, looks after the world, and we've seen that actually it's Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji that does all of this. When they are born inside of us, those good qualities, they develop within us. Because you don't just get them overnight, they start developing and they become stronger. So nothing in Kaljug, none of these vices can come back again. So actually, what is Waheguru Ji for us? Waheguru Ji, the true Guru, the Mukhi Guru, the ultimate Guru, for us, for Sikhs, and actually for the world, is the person who gives, who organizes, who delivers. Just like I've described God earlier. The giver, the organizer, the deliverer. And so for us, Gur Isar, Gur Gorak, Barma Gur, Parvati Mai, that message for us is that actually it's Akal Purkh Waheguru who gives us good qualities, who organizes and develops those qualities, and then delivers us by destroying those 5 vices.
Je hao jana akha nahi kehna kathan na jai.
So the Siddhs were very, very excited now by these teachings, because again, all these teachings can be looked on the top level materialistically, but they can be taken very deep and very spiritual and further, which I'm trying obviously to share with you. So they asked, tell us more, they were so excited. Jai hao jana, even though I know more, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji is replying, Akha nahi, I can't speak it. Kehna kathan na jai. It's too hard to describe. You can't describe it in words. You can't describe Waheguru in words. Even when I come and I try to share the discourse of Japji Sahib with you, it's sometimes difficult to translate Gurbani first into Punjabi and then into English to give the teaching to yourselves. Sometimes you can't find the words. So I'm finding that difficult myself. So you can imagine Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, who is explaining to the Siddhs, Jai hao jana, even though they know more, because they are the embodiment of Waheguru. Akha nahi, they can't say it. Why can't they say it? Kehna kathan na jai, because you can't describe Waheguru Ji in words. You can only go so far. You have to experience, you have to realize Waheguru Ji through the teachings of Waheguru Ji, through what we've just described, Gurmukh Nadam, Gurmukh Vedam, Gurmukh Rahe Asmai, listening to Kirtan, listening to Katha, and then being absorbed in that, concentrating on that. That's the only way you will realize, you will experience Waheguru for yourselves, not by explaining it or describing it, because you can't describe Waheguru Ji with words.
Gura ek dehe bujai.
So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, in closing of this 5th body, Gura, the true Guru, the true enlightener, Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji, ek, one, dehe, have told us, bujai, has given us one understanding. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying this to the Siddhs. Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji, God has given me one understanding. And it's the same understanding that we should take. We should think of ourselves in that place now. Guruji has given us all one understanding, one teaching.
Sabana jiya ka ek data, so main visar na jai.
Sabana jiya ka ek data. Ji is obviously the creation. Sabana, all of the creation. Ka ek data, one giver, one God, one Waheguru Ji. So for all creation there is one Waheguru Ji, for all beings. So main visar na jai. For that reason, the giver of everybody, the giver of everything, so main visar na jai. For that reason, main visar, visar means forget, na jai, I hope that I don't forget them. I shouldn't forget them. May I never forget them. That's what Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji said to the Siddhs, and that's what we should be taking away this week from the 5th body of Sri Japji Sahib. Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji is the giver of everything. The giver of life, the giver of materialistic things, the giver of spiritual gifts, the giver of salvation. Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji came in the form of Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, the first Jodh, the first Sarup, and lived through in bodily form the 10 Sarups to Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, and now Dasan Paatshah Jodh, the light of the 10 Gurus, the light of Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji in the form of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Sabana jiya ka ek data, there is only one giver, the one giver of everything. So main visar na jai. So for that reason, we should never, ever, ever forget them. They will constantly give us, they will constantly protect us if we never forget them. This was the 5th body of Sri Japji Sahib. Next week and next time, the Siddhs, because when Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji would travel to the Sikhs. They started meeting them from a young age, and they would try to test Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib. You will hear that discourse next week. This week, if I've said anything to offend anybody, to say if I've said anything that's wrong, I'm sure I may have done, I apologise. I hope Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji can bless us all with Guru Sikhi Dad, so we can follow these teachings and we can be saved, we can become one with Waheguru Ji themselves, but only through your blessings. The Saad sangat, the Deho Sajjan Sisaniya, Jo Hova Sahib Shumel,
Gura
Ek Dehe Bujai, Sabna Jiya Ka Ek Data, So Main Visar Na Jai, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.